Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Whipped Cream from CZT Doris Bisschop. And I hope I have pronounced that right, Doris. All right, this one, as I was, first looking at it and then doing it, I'm like, this is really familiar to another Tangle that we did. Well, I have to look and see. Sometimes it seems like it was only yesterday, but it was, maybe last year. All right, this one starts off with some orbs in the center. Orbs in a row. I put one in the center so that way I could kind of feel like I have it centered and then work out both ways. It's the same way that I like to do grids and everything. I'll start off with that line or whatever in the center of whatever I'm doing and then work out from there. So the tangle that this is very similar to is one called Noodle. And those that have been following me for a while will have interesting memories on when we did that. We did it, I think, for a Tangle time. Yeah, we did. And it's a little bit, it's different. It's different enough from this. It has a similar look. I'm going to put it in the a little bit more complicated than this one folder. So I will put a link in the description section. So if you want to check it out, you can. Also, while I'm mentioning the description section, there'll be links to step outs and things, ways to connect with me if you want. If you're interested in, checking out some live classes, check out my website. We have a nice Facebook group, all of that. Would love to have you join in on the fun. All right, so this, after you get your row of orbs, and this one I think it depends on your style and how you want to do it, whether you want them small or large. That's, of course, up to you. The next step is one that is very similar to some other tangles. It's going to be an S shape, and we're going to utilize the technique of takeoff and land. And so if you are not familiar, the takeoff part is we're going to trace a little bit over this orb, and then, take off as we, come away from that orb, and then we're going to cross over, making that S shape, and then land on this orb, and have it where, we're landing, but as the landing, it's kind of like, when a plane lands, it doesn't just stop. It has to kind of slow down. So that's why, part of why we use the takeoff and land, and just having that, it's kind of like a continuity thing in my book. Okay, so just tracing over a little bit. I'm going to work to keep these kind of tight in there. It doesn't always work. The bottom one always seems to pull away. If I should just do that to the beginning one too, then it would be even. Now see, then that one, it was opposite. Well, you just do what you can do. So we have this chain of S's. Then, the next step is similar, but we're going to pull away a little bit. Sort of aura-ing, but we're coming from the same point and ending at the same point. So like this. So just coming out a little ways. You can do a little bit of that takeoff and land idea. All right. Then from here, it's a similar stroke, but we're not coming from this point. We're going to start a little ways down, like so. And, a little bit further down, and kind of making a bit of a curve. Okay, so that's might be something you have to play with a little bit. And then from here, same idea. This step, we're doing them all. We're working on the same section all at one time, and so I always have to remind myself to go down a little bit. Okay, so here. So the first one I kind of put right here where that little curve line was, and then it's just a matter of, like I said, remembering. And that's why we practice this. That's why I call it play, because it's all about our own enjoyment, our own journey through Zentangle. We want everyone to feel good about what we're doing. And then let's just finish that off with a little thing like that. Okay, so you get the idea. We want to kind of create this bit of a curved line, and that's how you do it, by starting just a little bit further, into or from, where you started the last time. All right, so on my step outs, I wrote turn 180 degrees, so whatever you're working on, because I personally find it rather difficult to think, okay, I got to think about this backwards. Oh, it just hurts my brain. So if we can just turn the tile and do the same thing over again, then great. I also put repeat, so we're going to essentially repeat steps 3 and 4, because the first one we've already done. Step 2 was that first curve line. So coming back around, and again, just coming out just a little bit, like so, and then continuing, from there. And this time, again, we'll just work on each section. And if you worry about the orb, like around it getting messy, it kind of will, and it will anyway. And then when we're done, we can always touch that up. Okay. And if you're wondering, there's not any set number of, steps here. It's just kind of like, you just want to have that curve and have it fill in. And sometimes, if your orbs are, say, different distances apart or something, or also depending on, like this one's like, whoa, I kind of went a little bit way out. Yeah, so there's no set number for that. And there we go. It is cute. Now, for some shading, oh, well, actually, let me go back. So as I mentioned, if you want, the shading I think would cover it, but if you want, you could just go around that orb and just kind of clean up the little mess. Or you could fill the whole thing in if you would like to. The orb or whatever. That is one surefire way to fix that. So here's what I'm going to do for some shading, and I'm putting just a little bit of graphite right where all of the lines on both sides come into that orb. And it is kind of already like shaded with the pen line, just naturally. But sometimes just to bring it out a little bit more is helpful. And then depending on how big you do it, we'll just see how, like I said, I'm just coming out, oh yes, just a little bit. And I just had to stop and think for a moment. Yeah, and just having it kind of radiating out, that looks rather neat. Now, if you want to go, if you want to add some contrast, it does add a bit of drama to it, because I'm thinking that looks really neat. And you know what? As I was playing with it, I did one with some extra. I just want to try that. I'll try it on this one because this one is a little bit fatter. So going back, doing this shading again here, because of course this is just kind of an afterthought. Ooh, and I think I'm gonna color in those orbs so that way. Oh, I guess that's right. Yeah, it's kind of like, from each little orb we're going out this way and this way with the shading. That's why I hesitated on the other one, because I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't. Am I missing something? No, not really. All right, let's color those in. That way you can see if you want to do it or not. Let me be the guinea pig. Ooh, and then I have another thought that I'll maybe do at the end. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could also, I'm going to just put it maybe on this tail end here on both of those. Because you don't want to have too much graphite all in the same place, because then it just looks gray. All right, let's just. Although if you did the center a bit lighter and this one, ooh, not so much, or more gray, then it would make a difference. Oh. Turn the tile, Heather. It's always good to, like, why wasn't that working so well? It's always good to have your tortillon pointed to where you want to, oh, see, look at that. Where you want the graphite, or where you have the graphite. And then I'm just going to go a little bit darker here. Yeah. Yeah, because you could have the difference be, you know, kind of light graphite versus darker. And then that still, it's a contrast. And interesting. Oops, let's go. See, and once you kind of go, then it's like, well, then you have to kind of do it for more of them. All right. So that's interesting. 2 different looks, same tangle. Like I said, as I was playing this one, I realized I did one too many rows on the one side. Not that that matters. So if you end up doing that, you see how it doesn't really matter. Oh, and then, and if you do those, you know, these little orbs, I'm just going to add a little dot of white just to make a little shine in those, so then it looks more like a little pearl or something. So anyway, cute tangle, kind of neat, different ways to shade. So if you enjoyed this, would love to have a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed yet to the channel and you like it enough to see more, would love to have you as a subscriber. Also make sure if you do that to hit the notification bell next to it so you can let YouTube know how you want to be notified, if you want to be notified at all. And I did mention, if I didn't, because, you know, sometimes you get lost in the tangle and now I don't remember. If I didn't mention, in the description section, check that out. There's step outs, ways to connect if you'd like to, and because I've got, you know, classes, Facebook group. I am getting more content on my Instagram page and Pinterest. So if you select those links and follow, that would be lovely. All right. So again, I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you happy tangling.